Well, good day and welcome to this mini class, which is titled How to Identify the Ideal Audience for Your Book and Effectively Market to Them. So what I'll be sharing with you is basically what most successful authors really do. And I did quite a bit of research on that before I came up with this title. So let's get started. And what you're going to learn from this is, one, you learn how to identify your ideal audience so you can create precise marketing messages that connect with them, because marketing is actually what gets people to patronize you. And secondly, we'll talk about what your ideal audience really wants and how to position your book as the right choice. Then three, where they hang out and how to reach them, and a whole lot more. So let's quickly dive in. A little bit about myself. I'm Zion Thompson. I'm a business consultant. I've been doing this for quite a while, over a decade. And I basically love studying human behavior and how it relates to business and marketing. And today I'm on a mission to help authors to get the best out of the resources they have and build a personal brand. So having said that, let's dive down into today's topic. Now, big question, what do successful authors have in common? What do they all have in common? Because if we know what they have in common, then we can actually, learn from it and begin to implement it in different ways in, book writing and publishing, journey. Now, there are only three things I found that all of them have in common. And there could be more, you could add more, but these are the basic three things. One, they know who their audience is. Two, they know what their audience wants. And three, they know where they are and how to reach them. Those three things are the basic fundamental things all successful authors have in common. So now here are a couple of successful authors you might know: J.K. Rowling, Stephen King, Sir Conan Doyle, Rick Warren, Jack Canfield, Robert Kiyosaki, J.R. Tolkien, Joyce Meyer, Stan Lee, and you. I put you there because you are an author, and you also, by virtue of even watching this training, I think you are successful. You differentiate yourself from the rest. So let's talk a bit about three of them in particular. I have here Stephen King, J.K. Rowling, and Robert Kiyosaki. Now let's start with Stephen King. Stephen King has written like 88 books and sold 350 million in copies. And his genre basically is horror and fiction, and his audience is young adults basically. Then we have J.K. Rowling coming up with 500 million copies sold, and she's written 25 books. Japanese fantasy, drama, young adult fiction, tragic comedy, and crime fiction. Audience millennials. Kiyosaki here has written 16 books and sold 27 million copies. The genre is personal finance, investment, business, entrepreneurship. His audience basically is more of entrepreneurs. Now, I really want to talk about J.K. Rowling in particular here, because I put this here to show you that these folks have sold quite a lot, and if they've sold quite a lot, there's one or two things we can actually learn from them. And I'll talk about J.K. Rowling here. J.K. Rowling, when she got started, she was like she hit the $1 billion mark. In terms of like revenue that's come to her from sales of her book, and most of it has been turned to movies. But what you understand is that J.K. Rowling, when she got started, she was turned down by at least 12 publishing houses for her book. And what even got the publisher to publish the first edition of the Harry Potter series for her was because his 8-year-old daughter loved the book, and she begged to read it. And then she was working as a teacher, okay, and he then agreed to actually publish the book, and that was what made it for her. But he still told her, even while he took the book, like, what, nobody really makes money from publishing books for young kids, so don't get your hopes up, just go about doing your thing. But it turns out that J.K. Rowling, it was a hit, and she's had so many other series behind that. So here's what they all have in common. They have an audience, they know what the audience wants, and they know how to reach this audience. And the rest is just, it looks so simple, but this is what they do in a nutshell. Same thing with Stephen King, same thing with Kiyosaki and everybody else. You'll see they have their audience and they're speaking to, and they know what the audience really wants, and they are constantly churning out new books centered around what the audience wants, coming from different angles, penetrating different audience based on the evolving needs out there. So that's what you need to do. Like I mentioned, know who your audience is, what they want, and where they are, and how to reach them. So let's go on. I want to lay down some ground rules which you should take note of as an author. One, your book is not for everyone. So you need to actually understand that whenever you actually release a book, it's not for everybody. You are not there to try to get everybody. Yes, if they can read, fine, they might want it, but it really is not for everybody. There's a particular audience that will respond to this, and we'll talk more about this. Rule number 2, all readers are not equal. Some will read and want to take more from you. Some are just like they may pastime. So you need to actually understand who the kind of readers that you want for your book are, that will give you quality feedback and will turn to, ambassadors when we're talking about your book. So 3 is your game changer is actually the relationship with your ideal readers. There's no successful author out there that I know of that doesn't keep a very good relationship with people that read their book. From all Stephen King, J.K. Rowling, they always have relationship where they interact with them. They have small sessions where people can ask them questions, based on their book, talk about the characters, why they chose this character, and they build this, this relationship with them via email, social media, so many places. So the game changer really is in the relationship you create with your readers, so they get to spend, want to hear more from you. 4th is your book must stand for something your ideal readers stand for. Very key. If you take Kiyosaki now, Kiyosaki stands for, personal finance and liberating yourself through, understanding how to make investments. So it stands for investments more, so you can put it that way. And 5th is your book must stand against something your ideal readers stand against. So you will resonate more with people that actually are with you on a particular journey, or you will resonate more with people that stand for something on your journey as an author. So big question is, so who is your ideal reader? Who is your ideal reader? Because it's not for everybody. So who is your ideal reader? Here's what I say your ideal reader is. Your ideal reader are persons who are most susceptible to the message behind your book. Your ideal readers are persons who are the most susceptible, who will love the message behind your book. And here are 3 characteristics of your ideal readers. 1, they have a need and they want a solution, and they're really ready to pay for the book that meets those needs, in those cases your book. So there are so many needs out there, emotional needs, and if your book has what it takes to meet your readers' emotional needs, they want to relax and they think a good book from J.K. Rowling is what they need on a vacation, they are willing to buy it. We've all been in those situations where we're doing something or we're traveling, we want to relax, and we just need one person's book to take with us, and so there's a need there to relax, and we need a book to keep us company. And the next is third, which is the most important, are willing and ready to pay for the book that can get them to that can meet those needs. And there are 3 ways to actually identify your ideal readers. 3 ways, which is 1 is demographic information, psychographic information, and the psychographic information about your ideal readers. This will help you. Let's dive deep. Demographic, basically, it talks about how old are they, what is their gender, how much they earn, what is their family size, where do they live, what is their ethnic group, what is their educational level, and on and on. This is just it in a nutshell, but there are more you can add to this. Now, why this is important is knowing what age bracket you're, like I showed you that millennials are those born between 1982 to at least nine like 1982 to 2000 thereabouts. So anybody within that brackets, J.K. Rowling considers them as their audience, as her audience. So it's also very key to actually understand what really demographic or what age range is your, what age range of people within a particular area that are most susceptible to the message of your book. Will male respond to it more than female, or vice versa? On how much do they earn that they can actually like patronize you, and family size, depending if you're talking to, it'll be something that you wrote a book for parenting, so a family of five, let's say the father of a family of five will respond more to a particular book than someone that is just newlywed or just has a baby. So all those key things are very important to find out who is the most susceptible to what you have. Where do they live? Someone in a particular area will respond differently to those in a particular area. So all this come under the demographic of who your ideal reader is. The next is, what are their values? Under the psychographic, what are their values? What do they value? What are their interests? What are their hobbies? What is their lifestyle like? What are their religious views? What is their personality? Understanding this will actually help you to tailor your message, your marketing message, to speak out to them whenever you engage them, wherever it is or however it is you engage with them. The third is the psychographic information, which is, what do they worry about the most? What is their single most biggest needs that your book can solve? And what do they secretly desire the most? So if you're writing a book on money, you obviously should know what your ideal readers worry about when it comes to money. Are they having financial challenges? And how do you now present your book as the solution? Are they looking for a book that speaks on religious views, and are they struggling with their faith? Or if you're coming from a religious standpoint, or what do they secretly desire the most? We've seen so many books come up and are like mega hits. One is 50 Shades of Grey. What did they secretly desire the most? Obviously, you can tell by the numbers that bought that book that what they secretly desired the most was what is in the book, and that's why they responded to it that way. So 3 things I said: demographic, the demographic, and the psychographic and the psychographic information. The next is, what does your ideal reader really want? It might look ridiculous, but there are particular things they want that if you can respond or answer those needs, you'll actually be able to get their attention. I'll tell you this upfront. What your ideal readers really want is a transition of their emotional states. Now, here's what I call a Robert Plotchdick's emotional circle, or wheel of emotion. And if you observe, if you watch certain movies or read certain books, you observe the transition of emotion from fear to terror to suspense to vigilance to anger to happiness to awe. You are moving through different emotional states. So we categorize a good book by the number of emotions it takes us through, and we're like, wow, I love that book. So you need to actually identify what are the key emotional states that your book is going to take your reader through, from one point to one point. Every experience we actually encounter, we actually can describe an emotion. There's an emotional attachment to it. So aside the knowledge that is being passed, there is a state of emotion that is also following that knowledge that is being impacted to the reader. So understanding that your audience, what they really want is a transition of their emotional state. So I'm going to talk about this much further. So I will call this more like a grid. So whatever book you're writing, right, there's always, put it this way, there's a before and an after. So before someone takes your book, if they have insecurities, depending on what genre you're writing on, whatever, if they have insecurities after reading it, they should feel more positive. You should have that transition. They feel stressed after reading your book, they should feel relaxed. If they feel uncertain after reading your book, they should feel confident. So you need to understand that there is this emotional needs that need to be met in every single book you write. What is it passing across? You need to know what your audience really is going to get out of it at an emotional level before you even get started. And this will actually help you in actually coming up crafting your marketing message to speak to your ideal readers. So last but not the least is where to find your ideal readers. There are so many places to find them, but there are two basic places: one, offline; two, online. So speaking about, like offline, there are religious centers, there's school, learning institutions, and your place of work, and so many places you can add for offline. And there is online, which is Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, and through emails, and so many other places. And both of them have their pros and they have their cons. For offline, you get to meet them physically and you can engage with them but until I meet you physically in a particular location, I'm also restricted by going offline because I need to get to that physical location before I can actually see you. But by going the online route, I can talk with someone in Australia about my book. I can talk with someone in the US or the UK or wherever about my book. So you can reach more and more people. You're not restricted to a particular geographical location, by going the online route. But there's a blend of book worlds where you can actually enjoy the best of both sides. So if you want to go the offline route, you obviously know what you're up against, meaning that you're going to be restricting your effort. And aside that, there is a cost that goes in getting people to if you're going to go from here to, let's say, a Victoria Island to actually talk with someone about your book, there's a cost involved. You probably need to follow your car to actually get there. There's that cost involved. And you're going to meet, let's say, if you're going to speak to many people, right, 1,000 people, yes, good enough for you. But if you're online, you can stay in the comfort of your house and actually do a webinar and actually get the same number of people without even stepping out of your house. So like I said, there are pros and cons to this, but you can find your ideal readers in both places, offline, online. Now, there are also this is also a pyramid that I'd like you to take note of when it comes to marketing your book. That there are three kinds of people you will meet. There's the cold audience, the warm audience, and the hot audience. Cold audience, they don't know you yet, right? And the warm audience is, they know you and they like you. They've heard your message and what your book is about, kind of know you're an author and you have great content. But what you really want to do is get people hot audience zone, which is people that know you, like you, trust you, and these are the people that are most likely to buy your book. So you might walk into a place and you talk to people for the first time and they don't know you, and your speech will get, or whatever you talk to them about, may get them to know you as an author and probably like the message behind your work. And it moves them then to the warm zone, which is they know you and they like you, they like what you have to offer, and then they begin to trust you because of the message you're trying to pass across by way of your book. So everything you're going to do as an author is to take people from the cold stage to the hot stage where they will eventually get to buy from you. So these are the three stages you actually will go through and in the marketing of your book. So I want to leave you with this. This is the number of internet users. I spoke about where your audience is in previous slide, and I say you can meet them offline and online. I said there are pros and cons to this, but I want to point out here this trend we're seeing here. Now, the number of people in Nigeria on the internet as of 2017 was 72.4 million people, right? By 2018, we had 92.3 million people on the internet. By 2018, we had 92.3, and by 2019, it's been speculated that we're going to have 113 million people online, and by 2023 we are having 107 million people online. So we can see the growth rate of people that are in our space that are coming online. So if you are an author, you actually need to understand that more people are actually coming online and will probably engage with your book, online than offline. So you can reach more people now more than ever before with looking at this trend. So it's now, how do you position yourself to take advantage of this trend? And this is what I want to leave with you here. So I've come to the end of this short training, and I hope you enjoyed it. And if you have any questions, I'd like you to go to the link that I've just posted here, enrichyourmind.co.uk /register. Just go log in and leave your comment, and I'll actually respond to them. And you can go and you can also download this video as well, and I'll be sure to get back to you there. Yeah, so have a nice day and bye.